What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Happy Friday Eve. Happy Friday Eve. Listen, my plan today was to give y'all a double dose. I was going to give y'all 2 episodes of Beverly Hills and 2 episodes of Ladies of London. But I had a horrible headache that I was dealing with all day long. So I came home from work and I just laid down. Um, and I literally just woke up about an hour ago. So, so we're gonna get 2 episodes of Beverly Hills in, and I'm gonna try to get us caught up this weekend. I don't have a busy weekend, so hopefully I can do a Ladies of London. I like doing 2 episodes at a time more than three because I feel like in three I'm is a lot. So I'll get you guys 2 episodes of Ladies of London, and then we'll get caught up. And then I know like the reunion looks for Beverly Hills came out. Can I tell you something? You were gonna say I look a little tired. Yeah, I'm and this is what I hate. I hate coming home from work and taking a nap because I feel like one, I feel like I never fully wake up all the way. And two, then I worry about am I gonna be able to fall asleep tonight? Because I slept for like 2 hours. Like I set my alarm for an hour and then I hit that maybe I hit that reset. Well, I set the timer. Maybe I hit that reset and I went right back to sleep. So I'm sure my body needed it, but yeah, I'm tired. I feel the same way. But it's okay. It's okay. Tomorrow's Friday. I have the weekend, and I really think it was allergies. The weather was warm today. I think it was the pollen, you know. But anyway, so let's get into it. So these episodes I know are old. These episodes 13 and 14. I think we're on episode 17 or something like that. So we're gonna get caught up. I saw that the reunion looks came out today. Can I be honest and tell y'all something? I know that for Married to Medicine, I did a whole like video going over the reunions. I mean going over the looks, and I know for Potomac, I did the same thing. Can I be really, really honest and tell you guys? I saw the looks for Beverly Hills earlier today, and I think the looks collectively are hideous. And I have no interest in doing I may feel like I said, I was dealing with a headache today, so I knew I wasn't gonna do it today. I may look at the looks again and be like, okay, maybe I will. But honestly, there was I think the best look I liked was Jennifer Tilly's, and she literally had her face on hers. I did not like maybe at the end of this we'll just go through the looks. I don't know. But I mean, Kathy looked like Little House on the Prairie. Like it was just horrible. Those looks were horrible. And there was no color. Like I feel like Beverly Hills don't even care. Which Beverly Hills should be the reunions that not because they have the money and the access and the stylish. Like even Rachel Zoe, I wasn't, and I'm like, girl, you're a stylist. That's what you do. Like that's your bread and butter. Well, it's not her bread and butter, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's get into these episodes. Um, yeah, right. Don said that they were horrible. Like I honestly cannot think off the top of my head which look I love. Erica's look was recycled. I feel like we've seen that look from Erica a million times. I liked Kyle's look. Listen, let me find it. I may go back. We may talk about it at the end of this. Let me see if I can find the looks. We may talk about it. Um, let's get into this reunion. There was no color scheme. That's the thing. It was no color scheme. It was all over the place. Who usually has the looks, y'all? Who usually has the looks? I'm trying to find an Instagram. Let me see. Mr. Housewives. Do they usually have the look? Let me see. Is it Mr. Housewives? Who is that usually has Bravo? Let me see. Is it this one? No. Is it Bravo Shade Room? Who is it that usually had the looks? I follow so many Bravo. Oh, okay. Thank you. There you go. I follow so many Bravo channels. OMFG Bravo. I still don't see the looks. I still don't see the looks. All right, I'll find them. I don't want to hold up too long, but I know I saw them earlier. Yeah, OMFG reality. Okay, Don sent them to me. Thank you, Don. Yeah, I didn't see him. All right, let's just go through them real quick since we're talking about it. Thank you, boo. Thank you. Since we're talking about it, let's just start here. So there's the picture. There's the, as you can see, I guess it was somewhat of a color scheme, but it was all over the place. We got black, we got beige, we got white. I don't know what Bose has on. I don't know what that is. So this is Kyle's look, and again, I like, honestly, Kyle's was my favorite, but it was just it didn't look reunion. This was my favorite look. Let me try to make it bigger. But I just don't feel like that's a reunion look. But I liked it. I like the hair on her on this. I love her hair up like that. I think it makes her look younger. I love this look. But it's just a very simple look. I love it, you know. We have bows. I love that color, that chocolate. I think is a beautiful color. I think this is a very reunion look. I like that her hair is back. I think Bose, I don't know what she'd be doing with her wigs or her bundles or whatever the situation is, but it'd be too much. Let me say this. If this were another reunion with better looks, this would not be my favorite. It's still not necessarily my favorite, but I don't hate it compared to the rest of the looks. Compared to the rest of the looks, I don't hate it, but it's definitely not my favorite. But compared to the rest of the looks, this right here, I think this is my favorite. Jennifer Tilly. I absolutely love this dress. This is so Jennifer Tilly with her own face on the dress. This is so Jennifer Tilly. And it fits her to a T. I hate the hair though. I absolutely hate the hair. I hate this hair. But Jennifer, from the neck down, baby, love it. From the neck up, hate it. I don't like the hair. But I love this dress. I think it is a cute idea. I love the execution of it. Because this could go wrong, right? This idea could go really, really wrong, but I love the execution of this. But I hate her hair. The whole Love Shack B-52s situation, I'm hating it. Kathy looks like she is on her way to a Little House on the Prairie reunion. You know, Kyle and her sister, I don't think Kathy, but Kyle and her sister actually played on the Little House on the Prairie. They were like, you know, extras on Little House on the Prairie. This looks like she's on her way to a Little House on the Prairie reunion. It looks like a nightgown. It just looks like a sparkly nightgown with shoulder pads. This is horrible. This looks very Holly Hobby. This is horrible. I don't know what the hell this is. Kathy, what are we doing with this? You have a beautiful figure that you pay a lot of money for. This does nothing to flatter you. As Abby would say, the dress is up to your esophagus. Girl, it looked like you just pulled something out your closet. That is something you sleep that is an old-fashioned nightgown. That is just horrible. Horrible. Okay, this is Erica. Erica's wearing black, so either you didn't get the memo or you don't give a damn. Don't know. And I feel like we've seen this look a million times from Erica. You know what I mean? There's nothing spectacular about this look for me. It's just, you know, a lace dress with the see-through, you know, big girl panties underneath. You know what I mean? Looks like she got like a corset situation underneath. The makeup is nothing spectacular. The hair is nothing spectacular. Like, I'm very disappointed in this. Not Kathy is wearing my grandmother's Easter bedspread. You know what? Go to the corner. Now, Erica, 5 years ago, baby, this gives me 10s across the board. I'm still not crazy about the hair, but this gives me 10s 5 years ago. But right now, I don't know what this is giving me. 2026, this is dated. This is old. We've seen it a million times. How many times have we seen this silhouette with the lace dress and the see-through corset underneath, or the big girl panty, like you know what I'm talking about, the panties underneath. Right. We've seen this look from Erica a million times. Again, I feel like you pulled this out of your closet. Sutton. Let's talk about Sutton. Girl, what are we doing with this? What are we doing with this? First of all, I'm sorry that it's blurry, y'all. I'm doing the best I can. First of all, that color is totally washing you out. That dress blends in with your skin. The top of that dress looks like it's just your skin. It totally washes you out. That's you got a tan at the wrong time, Sutton. Any other time you wouldn't have a tan. You went and got a tan, and now you match your dress. That's number one. Number two, what is this hair giving? This looks like a Party City wig down to the beauty supply store. What is this hair giving, Sutton? Number two, the midsection of this dress, it makes you look thick. Like, it makes you look like you're bloated. You don't look fat because you're not a fat woman, but it makes you look bloated. There's no cinching in the waist. There's no nothing. And you look bloated. This dress is actually not an ugly dress. It's just not pretty on you. And I know that was a harsh thing to say, but it's just not pretty on you. You think you like that hair on her? I don't. Let me make it bigger, because Tawanda, I think maybe you're not seeing that. Girl, you like that hair? That's what you like? That's Tawanda. 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 This is what you like right here? That's the hair? Now, I like the idea of that style. I don't think it's well executed. You think the hair looks good? Okay, well, listen, everybody has a right to their opinion. I don't like that hair. Listen, to me, her hair looks very much like my hair right now. It's puffy right here. Like, it's puffy. It's not giving me a defined, part, and it's a little puffy. You know what I mean? But that's my opinion. Y'all, listen, we don't have to agree. Listen, I think we can all agree that that's just not Sutton's best moment. Again, and here we have Dorit, and again, I don't think the midsection of this dress is doing Dorit any favors. I don't know what these dresses like. What is this midsection? It's hard to see as a glare on this picture, but it just looks. You can see it a little bit better right there. I mean, we know Dorit is not fat. We absolutely know Dorit is not fat, but the way that dress is coming down, I don't know. Maybe it's the way they're standing, but do y'all see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just doing them no favors. The way these dressed, it's doing them no favor. And what is this cascading situation? Oh shoot! What is this cascading situation from the middle of your legs? What is that? Like that? I don't know what that. The placement of that is very interesting. Just coming out the middle of your legs, and then you've got this awkward cutout. Hold on. Oh, child. Hold on, let me let y'all see. Then you've got this awkward cutout on the side. What is that? Just a little slither of a cutout on your thigh, on your side thigh. What is that, Dorit? Oh, y'all can't see. It's hard to see it because it's not zooming in, but it's like, yeah, see, you can see it right there. What is that? That is so awkwardly placed, and it's just a little cutout. Like, I don't know what's going on. Now, I do like the hair. I like Dorit's hair. I like her hair. I do like her hair. I like her makeup. But that dress, again, it's just not doing. I don't think it's doing her any favors. I don't think it's doing her any favors. Where's Amanda? Oh, I skipped right past. Okay. Now this is Rachel Zoe. I will say this dress is very Rachel Zoe. It's very bohemian chic. You know, it's giving very bohemian chic, right? It's giving Rachel. It's very Rachel Zoe. You know, I can't see it from the front, so I don't know if I fully like it because I really need a front angle. I really need a front angle of this dress. Um, but I will say this: if I were to judge based on people's aesthetic, this dress is very Rachel Zoe, and Bose' dress is very Bose. Like that's what you expect to see from Bose, and this is very Rachel Zoe, right? So from that perspective, Rachel and Bose would be my two favorite. From that perspective, that is giving very. This is very much their aesthetic. This is who they are. This is their silhouette. You know what I mean? But again, I need to see this from the front, Rachel, before I can say whether I really like it or not. But from that side ankle, it's just giving. It's very much it's your aesthetic. So I'm gonna give you credit for the fact that you stuck to who you are. Bose and Rachel Zoe have a very distinct point of view in their fashion, and they stick to it. I know I'm blurred, y'all. It's going to keep blurring up until we got one last picture left. I don't know what the fuck this is. That's Amanda. Amanda. I don't know what this is giving right here, Amanda. Why do you have this tulle crepe situation just draped across your neck, going down the side? What is that? What is that? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What is this situation? I don't even know where to start with you, Miss Amanda. I do too, Lauren. I like Rachel's style, and that's why I said I'm giving her credit for this is who she is. She stuck to her aesthetic, and I'm gonna give her credit for that. I'm giving her credit for this is her aesthetic. Now it looks like a drag race challenge done in 20 minutes. I can see that. And honestly, I feel like she could just take that crepe off. I mean, I don't think the dress underneath is spectacular, but it can't be worse than that. So those are the looks. And honestly, I think that's about the extent of what y'all gonna get from a review. Because I don't even have the energy to do this as a full, because the looks are just horrible. Like if I had to pick my favorite, I think my favorite look was Kyle's. If I had to pick, if somebody said, well, who do you think did a good job of representing who we've seen them to be, it would be Bose and Rachel Zoe, right? But honestly, I'm not crazy about any of the looks. Like nobody made me say yes, ma'am. Nobody made me do that. Nobody made me say yes, ma'am. You did that. Not nail one of them. So anyway, there it is. Those are the looks. Yeah. Well, you know what? I take that back, cheap. If I had to pick one, it would be Jennifer. If somebody said, tell me who was your favorite, it was Jennifer Tilly's look. You're right. You're right. Thank you for reminding me. Jennifer Tilly is my favorite. If I had to pick one, it's Jennifer Tilly. Hands down, it's Jennifer Tilly. I love that dress. I love that dress. And I'm gonna say this. I think Jennifer Tilly stuck to her quirky side. You know. But let's get into these episodes again, y'all. I'm still up. So this is episodes 12 and 13. So the ladies are back from the Hamptons, and Bose could not wait to run her ass over. And I think I forgot to mention this in my last review because I thought about it as soon as I got off the line, where Kyle and Bose had this conversation where Kyle was talking to Bose about her being worried about Dorit and saying, look, you know, I'm noticing some things about Dorit. I'm noticing this erratic behavior. I feel like she's doing a lot of shopping. I'm a little bit nervous for her. So this is what I'm going to say. When Kyle was having this conversation with Bose, I was like, girl, Bose is not your friend. And I do not think that Kyle was talking to Bose in a gossipy way. I do not think she was talking to Kyle in a gossipy way. Kyle was talking to her. I do not think she was trying to start You know, I honestly think it was just she won't listen to nothing I'm saying. So maybe you can talk to her and you can maybe get something out of her that I'm not getting out of her. I feel like that's what that conversation was. And what did Bowles do? Bowles ran her ass back over to Dorit to tell Dorit all the things that Kyle said. And what irritates me, and see, let me tell y'all something, and I've told y'all this a million times before. Don't run to me and tell me what somebody said about me. Tell me what you said. And tell me why they feel so comfortable saying it to you. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Bowles, girl, you sat on that phone and had that whole conversation with Kyle, and you agreed with a lot of what Kyle was saying. You talked about her buying that Kelly bag, and you were a little worried about it. You talked about, she's stressed out, and I am seeing some things. You agreed with Kyle about some of the stuff that Kyle said. So you ran your ass back over to Dorit, and you made it seem like Kyle just called you and was talking cash money shit and just talking about Dorit and saying all these horrible things about Dorit when that's not even how that went down. So now you done got Dorit all worked up. Oh my gosh, I thought me and Kyle were in a better place. And then Dorit had the nerve to fix her mouth to say, I just feel like that if you have a problem with somebody, you should go to that person. Girl, what you mean? For the last 2 seasons, every time Kyle has tried to say anything to you, you are jumping down her throat and you are turning it into a whole bigger situation than what it really is. So how is she supposed to feel like she can comfortably come to you and say anything that is remotely a criticism without you cussing her ass out and turning it into a bigger deal? I don't think that Kyle was wrong. And clearly we know that Kyle not wrong, girl, because your credit card got declined. And you ain't go, and we know that it wasn't no fraud alert, because that ain't even how fraud alerts get down. Your ass was over there shopping and shopping till you drop, and you tried to run a credit card that you ain't have enough money on. Now you probably went through your wallet and figured out, oh shit, here's a card before I try to run this shit again. That's what that was, because you didn't use the same card. If it was a fraud alert, you'd have been able to talk to the bank. The bank would have said, oh, okay, that's you. Cool, no problem. You should be able to use your card now. You'd have been able to run that exact same card. Girl, we saw that you used a different card. And you even said, let's try this one. That's not a fraud alert, girl. That's not how fraud alerts work. And I'm sure them people at the store are used to fraud alerts because people do travel to the Hamptons and spend that kind of money. I'm sure they used to fraud alerts, girl. That wasn't no damn fraud alert. And here's what we know. Here's what we know. This is how these shows work. And I know y'all hate when we break the fourth wall, but at this point, baby, they producing a television show, so I'm going to tell you what production is doing, okay? If this were just natural things happening, I wouldn't even play with it. But because they're producing a show, I'm going to tell you what production is doing. Please understand how this shit goes. You think for 1 minute that somebody on production didn't whisper in Kyle's ear and let Kyle know that car got declined? Kyle been on this show since day one. Kyle is the anchor of the show, whether people like her or not, whether she's a fan favorite or not. She is the anchor on the show. She is the OG. She is the only person on this show who has been there since day one. And it was her concept. She was the one that sold the show to Bravo. That is who Kyle is. You think for 1 minute that somebody on production didn't go, it's not coincidental that Kyle is bringing up Dorit's finances. She didn't pull that shit out the sky. She didn't pull that out her ass. There's a reason why she was saying, she was doing all this shopping. Girl, that's what y'all do is shop. We have seen these Beverly Hills ladies walk into these stores and drop thousands of dollars, and it's never been a conversation. Why all of a sudden now is Kyle talking about Dorit and her spending? You know why? Because Kyle know that credit card got declined in the store next door. You know another reason why Kyle is bringing it up? Because Kyle talks to PK, and Kyle probably knows a whole lot more going on with their finances than what Dorit is telling them. Because between Mauricio and her, they talk to PK. They know what the hell is going on. So now all of a sudden, we have Bowles talking to Dorit, making it seem like Kyle is just running her mouth about Dorit. And that's not even how that went down. And then Dorit had the nerve to fix her line-ass lips. See, run the tapes, Bravo. I really wish Bravo had ran the tapes. When Kyle, what was that about? Maybe 4 seasons ago, when Kyle was like, I'm not drinking anymore, and she was working out every morning. Remember, they went to Vegas and she went to the gym, and every chance Bravo got, every chance the cameras got, they showed us Kyle working out and Kyle not drinking and Kyle ordering mocktails. They made it our business. Raise your hand in the chat if you remember Dorit having an issue with it. Raise your hand in the chat if you remember when, I don't know if you guys remember, Dorit and Kyle actually went out to eat. And Dorit had a whole conversation with her about it. It was even like, I mean, we missed the fun, Kyle. And, you know, you're just not, you don't drink anymore. And what is this obsession with the working out? Like, you made an issue out of it. You still making an issue out of it. Because then we talked about that a few weeks ago where somebody said something about Kyle. Didn't Dorit say something about a couple of episodes ago about Kyle not drinking? Didn't Dorit say, and I said, stop doing that. I feel like we had a conversation and I was like, they need to really stop doing that. Why are they still making an issue out of Kyle not drinking? I really felt like we had that conversation. Am I tripping? Okay, I see some hands in the chat. Yeah. I feel like Kyle and Dorit aren't friends anymore, so she should just accept it for the entertainment factor. Yeah, it's clear that they're not friends anymore. To be honest, were they ever really friends? Do I think that they were friends? I'm going to tell you what I think it was. I think the husbands were more friends than they were, but they liked each other. They spent time together. But now that the husbands are no longer connected, I think their relationship wasn't as tight. Now, that's just my opinion. So while this is going on, while this conversation is happening, what's her name? Kyle is across town with Amanda, and Amanda's giving her the breakdown on what happened while they were out of town, and she's basically saying, look, you know, they came to my house, but they weren't really present. They weren't really there. I feel like, you know, I don't feel like it really went well. I feel like they really weren't trying to get to know me. They really weren't trying to have a real conversation with me. And that's pretty much that. Listen, Amanda, even though Dorit is getting on my nerves, girl, I don't have nothing for Amanda either. Not drinking and taking care of your health are excellent behaviors, Dorit. Right, Lauren. So that's pretty much that. You know, Kyle kind of was talking to, you know, they were just doing can I tell you, I'm sick of the Amanda Dorit thing. In the next episode, we had to have a whole nother conversation with Amanda and Dorit, and I'm just over it. Like, I don't care. It's so, I'm over the whole argument. But anyway, then we see Amanda and her, I guess, assistant or her wedding coordinator or whatever, shopping for her wedding. Don't care. Happy for her. She said the wedding was going to be on 10/10/26. So that means that we have we'll probably, if she survives the season and she comes back for the next season, they'll probably film her wedding. Great for her. Congratulations. We see Kyle and Erica go shopping. And we find out that we're going to Italy. Bowles invited the ladies to Italy. She said a friend of her has a villa. Baby, that is not a villa. That's a small town. Okay, but we're going to get to that villa in a minute. That conversation was pretty much, again, a Dorit, you know, and Erica was like, listen, been there, done that, you know. When I was going through my shit, I was a falling down drunk. And so who am I to judge how somebody's handling what they're going through? You know, she's our friend. We're just going to keep an eye on it, make sure everything is everything. Kyle did bring up when she was talking to Amanda, Dorit, and this being late to the airport thing. So, and then even Bowles was like, I mean, yeah, you know, I have noticed that that Dorit is a little later than normal, but I mean, I just attribute that to her being stressed out and her having a lot going on. Listen, Dorit is not the first woman to have 2 kids, to be a single parent and have 2 kids to take care of and expected to be at work on time. Let's call a thing a thing. All the rest of them managed to get there at a reasonable time. Even if they running a little bit late, it's not ridiculous. Rachel Zoe got 2 kids. We don't see them talking about her being late. And let's be clear, this has been something about Dorit from the beginning. This isn't new about Dorit. This isn't a new thing about Dorit being late. If this were new, like if we never had issues with Dorit being late before and she's just being late now, you know what? I would give her that. I'd be like, well, look, she's adjusting to her new normal. Maybe she don't have 3 nannies anymore. Maybe she only has the 1 nanny, and she don't have PK there to help her do whatever he used to help her do. So, maybe that's why she's running late. Maybe she's going through some things. But girl, you've been late. We have always had to wait for Dorit. Now, Crystal Minkoff said, Crystal Minkoff got her podcast with Cynthia and they be telling all the business. Christopher Minkoff said, baby, the reason why Dorit is always late is because she's a smoker and they got to wait for her to smoke. Now, she said, that scene with Dorit lighting that cigarette, she was like, none of us are shocked by that because we know that Dorit was a smoker. And there would be times when we literally had to wait for Dorit to go and smoke and come back. Now, this one I'm going to say, Crystal, I feel like you just wanted to throw that in there that Dorit was a smoker and that you knew that Dorit was a smoker and you just wanted to kind of, because again, anybody who's been around people that smoke, I'm a smoker. I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke Black & Milds. I'm a smoker. There are times when I'll be like, shit, let me just go on, let me get a little puff in before I go into this situation because I know I'm not going to be able to puff for a couple of hours. It don't take that long to puff when you just, especially a cigarette. I've seen people smoke cigarettes. Boom. Now, you want to sit back and really enjoy it and you kind of looking around and all that. But when you're just trying to get a quick puff in, baby, it don't take hours. That is not why Dorit is late. Dorit is late because Dorit is disrespectful and does not respect y'all's time. That's it, and that's all. The cigarette might be a factor in between scenes when y'all, when she's out smoking before y'all, but it's not the reason why she's late. It's not. But anyway, moving right along. The ladies are getting ready to go to Italy. All right. We see them packing. Y'all know how we have to see them putting the shit in the suitcase and all that other stuff. And what are they taking? What are they not taking? Yada, 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 yada. So Bose has the ladies flying in shifts. She said she did it purposefully. I think they couldn't get a flight with all of them on the same flight in first class. Being honest. I'm just being honest. Because trust and believe, all of them ladies are flying first class. They not near one of them, not a one. Not near one of them are flying business class, and they damn sure ain't flying coach all the way to Italy. Those ladies are flying first class. So I feel like maybe they didn't have enough seats in one plane for all of them to be in first class. I don't know. That's what I feel like. But neither here nor there, we had shift 1, shift 2, and shift 3. The last shift was Jennifer Tilly and Kathy Hilton. Also, I think they may have had to work around people's schedules. Like maybe Kathy had something to do and she couldn't leave as early as the rest of them. But I don't think it was a strategic plan by Bose. I honestly don't. I think that's what worked out, what was best for them to be able to fly the way they like to fly, first class. You see, they have the executives. They're not even in the lounge, right? They're not even in the first class lounge at the airport. They're like in the executive, like that's like a concierge lounge where they're literally driven to the tarmac. Y'all seen that where the people where the SUVs will drive up to the tarmac. That's what that service is. Well, that little room that you see them in, that is that like concierge VIP thing. They're not even in the regular lounge. So anyway, those are the things I aspire to have when I grow up. One day when I grow up. So the first shift was Amanda, Bose, Sutton, and I think Kyle. Then we had Erica, Rachel, and Dorit. And then it was Kathy and Jennifer. I believe that's how it broke down. Child, I think they said Kathy left her phone on the plane in Germany or some shit, child. That damn Kathy Hilton. Do you know? I wonder how many phones Kathy Hilton goes through in a year. They said she lost her iPad on a plane in Pittsburgh or Indiana, and they could just track it. They were just tracking her iPad because they were just seeing it go. Shout out damn Kathy Hilton. Anyway, I'm sure they don't allow her to put anything important on her devices. I'm sure everybody's name is in code. I'm sure everything is locked down, triple, quadruple lockdown. Like, because I feel like she just goes through devices. But anyway, baby, when it was time for Erica, Dorit, and Rachel to leave, it looks like Dorit made it by the skin of her chinny chin chin. Baby, why they say that they only had 30 minutes left for her to check her bag, and she hadn't even left the house yet? Now, she may live close to LAX, but LA traffic is ridiculous. LA traffic is crazy. Listen. And again, her checking her bag is not the same as what time she has to be there to leave. So she made it, obviously she made it in enough time to check her bag. Or maybe she didn't, because later on when they were at the villa, she said something about just getting her bag. So I wonder if she didn't make it in enough time to check her bag. Because do y'all remember that when she was late for dinner and she told Erica she had just gotten her bag or something like that? So maybe she didn't make it. Maybe she had to check her bag on a later flight. Maybe. I did realize they had a lot of bag issues on this flight because Sutton's bag was lost. I think one of Kyle's bags didn't come. And then Dorit said her bag was late. I wonder. Now that I think about it, I wonder if she didn't make it. But either way, she made the flight. But Erica was saying something about her being late, which of course is setting up for the argument that Dorit and Erica are going to have later on. Y'all notice how they're showing they setting it up. So all the ladies get to Italy eventually. And listen, this villa is, I don't even have the words. This place is gorgeous. First of all, it's on like hundreds of acres. It's a whole vineyard and all of that stuff. They grow their own they make their own olive oil there and all kinds of stuff. It is a gorgeous, 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 estate, right? The ladies, now, this is what I don't understand. There's absolutely no way you are going to convince me that Sutton and Amanda had to share a room. That level of an estate, you are not going to convince me that Sutton and Amanda had to share a room. This was clearly storyline. Because that estate gotta have easily 10 bedrooms. Easily 10 bedrooms. It's nowhere in the world. And if they did have to share a room, you mean to tell me that the room they sharing got twin beds? I'm like, girl, you're just not going to convince me that they had to share a room. I just don't believe it. And I don't believe that the only room they had for them to share had twin beds in it. You don't even have a room that got 2 queen size beds, 2 full size beds, twin beds. Anyway, moving right along. Of course, the primary suite was gorgeous. I mean, it was everything that it needed to be, And then it was funny because Bose had already had her assistant get there earlier and lay out her jewelry and her clothes and stuff. And Kyle gonna say the last person we know that did that was Diana. And then she was like, she was, laughing at Bose like, oh my goodness, Bose is so, what she called her, bougie or something, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, you didn't expect the black lady to have the same opulence as Diana, because y'all made Diana sound like, she was the richest woman in the world. Anyway, so when they showed Dorit her room, why did Dorit fall out like that when she found out she had a sauna in her room? Baby, even Erica had to be like, I ain't never seen nobody act like that over a sauna before, but okay, girl. I said, why? Why are you literally laid out on the floor because you got a sauna. Like, Dorit literally fell out in the floor and was acting like, and again, that's why I keep going back to, girl, you keep reminding us that you ain't never been nowhere before. Now, let's be clear. I ain't never stayed in a room that had a sauna in my bathroom either. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna lay out on the floor and act like listen. I'm all about acting like you've been somewhere before. Now, when the attendant leaves out the room and I'm in that room by myself, oh, I might run around that bitch. I might be like, oh my God. But I ain't about to lay out on this floor and act like I ain't never been nowhere before. You love Diana? I'm going to say this. I loved Diana's opulence. I loved that she was unapologetically rich. Because that's why I watch these shows, right? I watch the Housewives to see a lifestyle that I currently, notice I said currently, do not have. So I love that she was unapologetically rich. I did not love Diana because I did not love the path that Diana went down as it related to her situation with Garcelle and things of that nature. That I did not love. But I loved how unapologetically wealthy she was. Baby, listen. Her boy toy husband, child. I was here for it. They're making a big deal about Sutton sharing a room with Amanda. And again, I feel like this is production. And again, y'all, I'm just going to have to apologize for bringing up production. But I feel like it's production. Because you're not going to, on one hand, show me how opulent and extravagant and beautiful this home is and then convince me that it ain't enough bedrooms. I'm just sorry, not sorry. Like, we're not staying at an Airbnb. We're not, you know what I mean? Like, there's another room. There's another bedroom in that house for Sutton. And why is the only person that shared a room with Sutton and Amanda? Nobody else had to share a room. Bo's got a whole +1. This lady, Natalie, we don't even know this lady. She just Bo's best friend. And no disrespect to Bo's. I mean, no, that's not even Bo's friend. Anyway, no disrespect to that lady. But she's not even on the show. And she had a room by herself. How'd she get a room by herself? We don't even know her. We didn't even see her get on a plane. Where'd she come from? Natalie got a whole room to herself. We don't even know her. So I'm not interested in the conversation about why Sutton decided to share a room with Amanda, because all she could keep saying is, well, because I want well, I know what it's like, to be the newbie, and I know what it's like when you feel like people are coming for you, and I just want to be there for her. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. That ain't what, because every time they asked Dorit, every time they asked Sutton, why are you being roommates with her? Baby, Dorit, I keep saying Dorit. Sutton couldn't even give y'all the same answer twice. She don't know why she roommates with that girl. Production told her that you roommate with her, and that was the end of that conversation. Sutton is trying to keep her job on the show. Maybe that's what it is, honey. Because I don't think it was her idea either. I think she was told. I don't think she volunteered. I think she was voluntold that that's what was going to happen. I don't think she volunteered to do shit. I think she was voluntold that that's what she was going to do. But anyway, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. The ladies are getting together for dinner for the first night. Poor Sutton had to wear something she had in her carry-on bag. Sutton, like me, I always put a change of clothes in my carry-on bag. I very seldom carry a suitcase as a carry-on bag. I generally just have my book bag. I'm pointing back there. My book bag is well, no, it's not. It's not over there anymore. But I used to keep my book bag like over there in the corner. But it's I know where it is, somewhere else now. But I usually either carry a book bag or I carry one of my totes. Y'all know I like to carry my little tote bags. And usually, especially if I'm going somewhere tropical where all I need is a pair of shorts, baby, I will always have a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, and a chain and a pair of underwear. in my carry-on bag because you never know if you're going to get your luggage or not one time. So I always have at least one change of clothes. At least one change of clothes. Now, if I go somewhere and I'm carrying an actual like suitcase, yeah, I got 2 or 3. I'll have 2 or 3 change, because you just never know. You just never know. You know what I mean? I remember one time I went to Vegas and it took my luggage. It was there by the end of the night, but you know, it wasn't there when it wasn't at the airport when I got there. And when I went to France a couple of years ago, our luggage was a couple of hours late getting there, and we had to wait. We actually had to wait for our luggage. Well, we didn't have to wait, but we chose to wait for our luggage because we flew into Nice, but we were staying in Saint-Tropez, which is about an hour and a half away. So we were like, of course, the airline would have bought us our luggage because it was their fault that we didn't have it. But it was like, it would have taken, they would have had to drive it down to Saint-Tropez. And we were like, where is it? And they were like, well, it'll be whatever plane. I think it would have been there like within a 2-hour window. So we were like, fuck it, we'll just get something to eat. The airline gave us a voucher to go to the restaurant. We went and got something to eat. By the time we ate, our suitcase was there, that kind of thing. Anyway, so you just never know what your situation is going to be. And so Sutton was ready, honey. She had this nice, and it was a cute outfit she had too. It wasn't like a little pair of jeans and a shirt. It was cute. I said, okay, Sutton, I see you, girl. But I feel like Sutton had a whole like suitcase, like a carry-on luggage. But anyway, but that's just a tip. Especially for people who don't travel a lot, I'm telling you now, just always put a change of clothes. Even if it's just a change of underwear and a fresh shirt. And again, if you're going somewhere tropical or some light, a light material pant that you could just kind of fold at the bottom, baby. And like I said, I put it in my book bag. I don't carry a big old luggage. I carry a book bag, but it's enough space to put that in there and still put my tablet and all the things that I carry on the plane. Anyway, that's just my travel tip tonight. That's my travel tip. So when they get ready to go to dinner, we're waiting for Dorit. We're waiting for Dorit to the point where Erica literally goes up to get her. And Erica tells her, girl, this isn't funny. Like, Bose has a surprise for us and we can't go to the surprise because we're waiting for you. Like, we can't get started. And Dorit tries to make a joke out of it. And Erica was like, girl, it's not funny. And I said, oh, here we go. And of course, I know because I'm so far behind, I've already seen y'all know what I'm talking about. I've already seen the clips showing where Erica and Dorit kind of get into it. But I'm like, here we go. Like, it's starting to get old. This whole I'm gonna be late is starting to get old. So Bose has like a little impromptu opera, which was really nice. And again, even if you don't like opera, it's a moment, right? And sitting there listening to opera takes me back to the whole argument that people, not me, but people were having about the whole Bad Bunny thing as it relates to not being able to understand English and what's the, oh my gosh, why can't he speak in English? Why can't, and I'm like, but y'all, these same people that was complaining, I ain't talking about the poor people, I'm talking about the rich people. These same people that was complaining about Bad Bunny singing in Spanish, they be going to the opera and it ain't not near English words spoken. And they be sitting there listening to it like they know exactly what's being said. And they be like, oh, with the opera. And the opera it is not English. And they be sitting there like they so into it. But anyway, it was nice because once again, we're in a villa. And no, it's not a theater room. It's not a theater room, ladies and gentlemen. It is a theater. It is a whole theater inside of this person's house or home. It is not a theater. It's a theater. It's a home. It's a theater, not a theater room. You know what I'm saying? Try using an AirTag in your checked luggage. It's a DIY tracker. A DIY tracker? I have AirTags in my luggage, but what do you mean? I don't know what that means by DIY tracker. Do it yourself tracker? Yeah. Oh, if you don't if you don't have AirTags, get some AirTags for your luggage. I absolutely keep an air tag in my luggage. And I try to find somewhere. Don't put it in an obvious place, because obviously if somebody's going to steal your luggage, nowadays they know to look for an air tag. Do it yourself tracker. Oh, got it. I'm like, do it yourself. But absolutely, that's what I would do. I put an air tag in my carry-on. I put an air tag in my luggage, and I have an air tag in my purse. I have an air tag in my car. I have an air tag in my car. I have an air tag in my purse. That's my, where are my keys? I have an air tag on my keys. Yeah, I have an air tag on my keys. So that's where I have in my purse, because, you know, obviously I have my keys every time. Because y'all know I change purses a lot, because I have a lot of purses. So I might change during the week. I don't change because I don't take a purse to work. So Monday through Friday, I really don't carry, unless I'm going out at night. I very seldom carry a purse during the week. But on the weekends, and y'all know I could carry a purse from day to day. Like what I wore on Friday may not be the purse I carry on Saturday. It may not be the purse I carry on Sunday, depending on what I'm wearing, because I match my purses to my outfit. So I just keep my air tag on my keys, and when my keys are in my purse, there you go. Because I change wallets too. I know, crazy. I don't change wallets as often as I change purses, but I change wallets pretty regularly too. So now I keep on my keys. I keep a little wristlet on my keys. So I don't have to change my wallet every time, because I have a wristlet the wristlet has my important stuff in it. The wristlet has my debit card, my credit cards, my ID, my insurance card, and that's connected to my keys. Because like I said, during the week, I don't carry a purse. I carry my work bag. And so I put that anyway. Because, baby, as a teacher, I stopped carrying a purse to work a long time ago, baby. And I don't carry no cash. I don't carry no cash. I don't carry an actual purse to work, and I don't have no cash. I very seldom have cash. Well, I very seldom have cash anyway, but I damn sure don't take no cash to work. Anyway, they have something for Android phone. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure whatever one has, the other one has. Yeah. So whatever it is, I suggest that y'all. That's just my 2 cents. I suggest that y'all do it. And the other thing about the air tags, you got to keep them charged up. So I try to, before I'm going on a trip, I try to make sure I've charged everything up. Anyway, those are our travel hacks. So after the opera, we're getting ready for dinner. And Amanda tells Dorit that she wants to talk to her. She said, listen, I just want to get this conversation over with. I just want to clear the air once and for all. Now, personally, in my mind, I feel like the air is cleared. I don't know why we're going back to it. Like, you know, Amanda says she hasn't talked to Dorit since that night they went to the restaurant, but she said that was weeks ago. I'm going to be honest. At this point, I would just be done with it. I wouldn't. So Dorit says, well, I'm going to the bathroom. We can talk when I get out the bathroom. So then when she gets out the bathroom, Dorit is going to say to Bose, well, are you ready for dinner? Because she wants to talk to me. First of all, bitch, who is she? Amanda wants to have a conversation. Do you guys mind if Amanda and I go have a conversation for a few minutes? I don't think anybody would have an issue with you and Amanda stepping to the side and having a conversation. That's number one. Number two, you told her you would talk to her. And then when you came out the bathroom, now it was, I want to eat dinner. I'm ready to eat dinner. I want to eat dinner. I'm ready to eat dinner. I want to eat dinner. And Dorit, how stupid do you feel that you're the only person? Well, you're not the only person. Let me take that back. I was going to say you're the only person walking around with a purse, but you're not. I will never mind. I would never understand walking around inside the house with a purse, but never mind. To each his own. Moving right along. I'm not going to make a big deal out of that, child. So they decide that they're going to go to dinner first, and then they'll have the conversation after dinner. In my mind, if you didn't want to have the conversation with me one-on-one before dinner, in my mind, I am not engaging with you at dinner. Whatever I'm going to say to you, I'm going to say to you one-on-one, the way I plan to talk to you one-on-one. And I am not going to allow you to create this moment in front of the whole group. I'm not going to do it. But Amanda basically allowed Dorit to create this moment in front of the whole group to talk about their issues, which honestly, I don't think is the issue. At the end of the day, and this is what pissed me off too. Once again, Amanda, you allowed them to flip this and turn this into you were talking so much shit about Dorit, which you were not. And I feel like you have been clear. I feel like Kyle has been clear. But the problem is nobody's listening to Kyle because Dorit and Kyle got their own beef going on. And nobody's listening to Amanda because they don't really like Amanda. But at the end of the day, girl, all Amanda did was agree with what Kyle said. That is it, and that is all. It was not that deep. And let's be clear. Let's go back to the beginning. What Kyle said wasn't wrong. Kyle said, girl, stop litigating your divorce in the court of public opinion. It's not going to be, it's going to backfire. That is all Kyle said. All she said was, stop litigating in the court of public opinion. It's not going to end well for you. So here we go again. We got to have this whole conversation again about what Amanda said, what Amanda didn't say. And then they try to make it out to be. And now, here's what I wish they would have said, which I think they kind of did say it because we've been arguing about this for weeks. So they kind of did say it. But here is your argument, Dorit. Your argument isn't that you feel like Amanda said something about you behind your back. Your argument is, you don't know me and you don't know this situation well enough to have an opinion. I'm not saying you're right or you're wrong, but that's your argument. Your argument is, girl, Kyle can have an opinion because Kyle knows me and Kyle knows this situation. You don't know me. You don't know this situation. You can't have an opinion. Again, I'm not saying that I agree with that, but that is what Dorit is upset about. Because how dare you feel like you can tell me what I should and should not be doing or judge me about my situation with my husband? You don't know me. You don't know this situation. Mind your business. And honestly, baby, that's what Kathy said. Kathy said, read the room and know your place. Baby, Kathy Hilton said, read the room and know your place. Basically, you are not in a position to have an opinion about this situation. I'm going to say it one more time. You are not in a position to have an opinion about this situation. Know your place. No, read the room, meaning you are not in a position to have an opinion about Dorit and her marriage. And know your place. Sit over there and be quiet. Baby, that's what she told her. And that didn't even shut Amanda up. Baby, Amanda said, but what if my opinion is coming from an informed place? I mean, I did this for a living. I've worked with kids of divorce, and I've gone through this of what that's like for a child to go through their parents talking bad about each other and how that causes trauma. Girl, what did you not hear nothing that Kathy Hilton just told you? So then Dorit said, well, somebody said, but she's not talking in front of the kids, which we don't know that to be a fact, but let's just say we know that. We don't know that to be a fact, but let's just say we know that. Baby, Kathy Hilton is that. Here's the thing about Kathy Hilton. Kathy Hilton is that old white lady. Well, I ain't even gonna make it a white and black thing because we know that black mamas do the same thing. Because, baby, that's some shit my grandmama would have said. That is something my grandmother would have said to somebody. My mother's mother, my mother's mother would have absolutely said the exact same fucking thing. She would have said, baby, She'd have added some babies and some sweethearts to it. But she'd have said, baby, read the room. You need to read the room, honey. Now, I don't know if she'd have said the know your place part, but she would have said something. She wouldn't have worded it that way, but it'd have been the same thing. But she'd have said, you need to read the room, baby. And you need to just stay quiet. She would have told her to just stay quiet. She wouldn't have said know your place, but she'd have told, it would have been the equivalent of know your place though, but it would have just been a different wording. So I just think that's an old person thing. You know, old people don't care what the fuck they say. Because why should they at this point? At this point, they don't have no reason to say nothing. So then we find out that Dorit went to dinner with PK, but she didn't tell nobody. It was in the newspaper. She didn't, in the tabloid, she didn't tell nobody. And she had, Erica was like, girl, you didn't say nothing. Why you didn't? She said, I was on the plane with you the whole time and you didn't mention it. And she gonna say, well, I'm just very careful about who I tell my business to because I know everybody is not really a friend. And Erica was like, who the fuck you talking about? Because I'm talking about me. And I know you ain't saying I ain't been a friend to you. Because I know I've been a friend. Baby, Dorit backpedaled up out of that thing so fast. No, that's not what I'm saying. Well, then let's get back to it. Why the fuck didn't you tell me? We was just on the plane for 15 damn hours and you ain't say shit to me. So then she's going to say, well, you didn't tell me about you and this guy you holding hands with. Erica said, girl, that was an accident. I ain't mean for the paparazzi. You know Erica didn't mean for the paparazzi to get that damn picture. She didn't have on no makeup. She had on jeans and a damn t-shirt and a baseball hat. You know Erica didn't mean for that picture to get out. You know why Dorit didn't tell nobody that she went to dinner with PK? Dorit didn't tell anybody about that dinner with PK because it doesn't fit the narrative that Dorit wants us to believe about what's going on between her and PK. The fact that you and PK went out to dinner and sat down and had a reasonable conversation about the divorce and y'all's kids, that's not the narrative she wants. She wants the narrative out there that PK is this raging alcoholic that's never around, that's never there for her, that doesn't support her, that doesn't support the kids, that's left her high and dry. That's the narrative. So the fact that they were able to sit down and have a nice dinner and civilly have a conversation about the kids, that's not what she wants. Just like when she went to the Hamptons, all of a sudden now PK is so available and PK is so willing to take the kids because you want to go to Hampton. No, because that's what you've been doing. Just like Mauricio said, you've been gatekeeping those kids and you've been using it as a weapon against PK to make it seem like he's deadbeat and he's not around and he doesn't want to spend any time with those kids. That's the narrative you wanted to spin. That's why your ass got so mad at Mauricio, because Mauricio bought them receipts, honey. Mauricio said, baby, I read all the text messages. I know PK been trying to see his kids because I read all of the text messages. Baby, Mauricio said, I read pages and pages. Baby, he did this. So that's really why Dorit didn't say nothing, child. It don't have nothing to do with her being careful about who she tell her business to. She wasn't trying to tell none of y'all. Because it's not the dynamic she wants out there. Then somehow, child, we done brought this damn cult up again. Let me tell y'all something. Do I think Amanda was in a cult? I do. I believe her. And, I don't believe a lot about what come out of Amanda's mouth. But I believe Amanda was in a cult. I do believe she came from the Bible Belt. I believe she was very impressionable. I believe that her whole life was about religion and youth pastor and youth this. And she was very involved. And I believe that when her youth pastor decided he was going to start his own church in Florida, he convinced a bunch of the kids that had worked under him as his youth pastor to come to Florida with him. I believe that he thought because they were young and impressionable, he could control them. And yes, he wanted them to have children and procreate to build up his congregation. And she said there was nothing sexual, and there may not have been. And just because she was able to pack her shit in the middle of the night and run away and there was no repercussions to her doesn't mean that she wasn't in a cult. Like, we got to get out of the Hollywood sensationalized version of what a cult is and get into what the tenets of a cult are. And I do believe that she was in a cult. And it sounds like she has talked about it. But for y'all to act like because she doesn't want to talk about it, like somehow that lessens whether it was a real cult or not. I think it's bullshit. The woman was in a cult, you know, but that's not who she is. She does not define herself by a cult. Now, what I believe is, just like any of these other housewife shows, when these new people come on the show, they Google them, they look them up, they find out about them, and there are certain expectations of what they want to hear and what storyline they want people to bring. And they decided this girl was going to talk about this cult. Amanda has never mentioned that cult. Out of all the things Amanda has talked about, she ain't never talked about that cult. But like she said, I literally did a blog about it. Like, it's not that I'm afraid to talk about it. I literally have talked about it. It's just not what I lead with. Amanda likes to lead with money. She likes to lead with her accomplishments. She doesn't want to lead with something that makes her look weak. That's who she... Absolutely, Auntie Eva. It is a cult. 100%. And that's why I'm saying I believe that she was in this organization that was controlling, that was based in religion, that used religion to manipulate her. She was young and impressionable. It alienated her from her family, or attempted to alienate her from her family. I believe all of that. I do believe her story. But I also believe that she did not want to make that her storyline. And I feel like she was very intentional about not making it her storyline. But anyway, that was pretty much the dinner. So the next day, and this is where I was getting irritated with Sutton and getting irritated with Kyle. The next day, Sutton and Kyle end up having a conversation with Amanda. And they're basically telling Amanda, don't let Dorit bully you. You need to stand up for yourself. You need to put your foot down. You need to let her know that she can't talk to you any old kind of way. And once again, I feel like, aren't we done? Like, we have literally talked this conversation to death. We're not done yet. So now y'all trying to put a battery in Amanda's back to once again go at Dorit for what? And like Amanda said, I don't feel like yelling equals assertive. Like, I feel like I could get my voice across by talking in my regular voice, by being very clear and intentional in my words. And I don't feel like I have to get loud. I don't feel like I have to be, exaggerated and make it a moment for me to get my point across. And again, I have to agree with Amanda. Now, we know that doesn't make for good TV. Got that. We know that Kyle and Sutton were really like prepping her for reality 101, not so much real world 101. Because in the real world, you don't have to yell and scream to get your point across. But we know what that was about. We know what that moment was. That moment was about reality TV 101 and not necessarily, real world conversations 101. But it was irritating me because I was like, now Sutton, girl, last year that was you going, and to be clear, Sutton went toe to toe with Dorit. She did. That's when she said, go argue with somebody whose wallet fits, baby. That is going to always be an iconic line. I don't mean no harm, but baby, they need to make that a meme the way they be making all them Nene one-liners a meme, because baby, that was a meme. Go argue with somebody whose wallet fits, baby. I don't think Sutton get enough credit for that line. Now, I don't know if she made it up or somebody told her to say it. It don't matter. But I think she don't get enough credit because she didn't really deliver it. You know what I mean? She didn't deliver it with a She sort of delivered it. She said, go argue with somebody else whose wallet fits. Like, she wasn't assertive with it. Like, honey, go argue with somebody whose wallet fits. See, if she had said it like that, it would be a meme. But because she didn't really give it that boom, they ain't giving it that boom. But we have got to give Sutton credit, because baby, that is probably one of the best one-liners. She told her to go argue with somebody whose wallet fits. In other words, baby, you're not rich enough to argue with me, bitch. Hello? Baby, Sutton said you're not rich enough to argue with me. We can't let that, we cannot act like she didn't say that, honey. Right, and some people risk their lives to leave a cult. I watched an interview of one of the Jim Jones massacre survivors. It's on YouTube. Yeah, the survivors, and they have so much survivor's guilt. Oh my gosh, because again, y'all know I get obsessed with things. And at one point in time, I was obsessed with cults, and I've watched so many documentaries on different types of cults. And that's why I say a cult it's not one-dimensional. But yeah, those Jim Jones survivors, they have so much survivor's guilt. I know there was was it a mother and daughter that survived? I believe it was a mother and daughter. They were down at the house where they make the food, I think it was, and they actually hid underneath the house. They were under the house, and they heard everything happening. I believe it was a mother and daughter. I might be getting my stories blended, but yeah, the ones that survived, they have a lot of survivor's guilt. Yeah, they do. I know one person, I think he was a guy, he ran into the woods and they were looking for him, but they had to kind of go back when everything started going down, but they were looking for him and he was hiding in the woods. But I remember, I think she was the cook and she had her daughter with her. And they hid under the way the houses were built. She hid under the house. Name them was a good one too, Auntie Eva. The name them, baby. That was a good one too. So the other thing we saw happen was Rachel Zoe and her sons and her ex-husband. Now, let me say this. I have two minds about this situation. And my first mind is when there's a divorce and it's nasty and it's messy, which this divorce clearly seems like it is, I do think there needs to be a level of respect that should be given to what the parents agreed that they're going to do. So if Rachel told her husband, I do not want us to talk to the kids about your girlfriend until we all sit down and have this conversation together, I think that should have been respected. Especially since it sounds like this relationship was the last straw in ending your marriage. It doesn't sound like it was the first thing or the only thing, but it sounds like this was the explosive moment that ended the marriage, was that you had this relationship, you confessed to Rachel, and that was the end of the marriage. So I honestly feel like that should have been respected. The flip side of that, though, is, and again, I know people who've been through a divorce about to tell me, really be, that ain't how that goes. So let me be clear. I've obviously never been there before, but this is my opinion. The flip side of that is y'all have been separated for a year. I understand that the news just exploded about the actual divorce filings and all of that, but y'all have been separated a year, which means that this man has been with this woman for a year. They probably live together. At the very least, they probably see each other on a very regular basis. To expect that he's going to spend time with his kids and that woman not be around, I think is unrealistic at this point. It might be hurtful to you because this is the woman that he cheated on you with. It may be very hurtful to you. But I don't think it's fair to bring kids into adult problems. That is not those kids' problem. And the fact that they even know who this woman is, and the fact that you told them you don't have to speak to her, and you don't have to do this if she's around, and you call me if she, that's wrong, Rachel. Based on the information we have, let me say that. It may be more to the story that we're not getting, but based on the information that we have, that's not fair. Because what's going on between you and your husband, those are adult problems. It don't have nothing to do with them kids. All those kids need to know about that woman is this is daddy's friend. And they're old enough to understand girlfriend. Mommy and daddy are getting a divorce. Daddy has a girlfriend. She's going to be a part of our life. And I think that's where you are setting up. Let's say that your ex-husband stays with this woman and they end up getting married. You have set the groundwork that those kids never have to respect that woman. And that's not fair. That man broke your heart. Got it. That man cheated on you. Got it. Hurtful. Got it. That don't have shit to do with those kids. That don't have shit to do with those kids. And y'all know how I feel when we see these kids having these adult conversations. That is an adult conversation. When you said, first of all, the fact that those kids don't even refer to that woman. Now, I know on camera we may not want to say her name, but the fact that you say that woman and her, that to me is already disrespectful. But to tell them, you call me, if she's there, you call me, you don't have to. What you mean? When they're with their father, that is their father's situation. That don't have shit to do with you, Rachel. I remember years ago, Judge Judy said that, and it's a harsh thing to hear, but in a divorce, when the father has those kids, that don't have shit to do with you. It doesn't. It may not be a good feeling, but that's when you go through the court and you say, hey, this is what I want in our separation agreement. This is what I want in the divorce agreement. And y'all mediate that with a mediator or with the judge. And once it's put in paper, once it's written in stone, then that's where we get into it. But I just thought that was a real... I think that that your son is staying with the ex-husband or your estranged husband. What the reason why he sat down with those kids or with his son to tell his son is because that woman probably lives there. His girlfriend probably lives there. So if your son is staying with him for the next week while you're in Italy filming, I don't think it's fair to expect that woman to move out of her house for a week to make you feel better. Because again, that's an adult issue. It has nothing to do with those kids. That young man should be able to go to his father's house and not have to worry about how that's going to make his mommy feel because the girlfriend is around. That's the kind of stuff we do to these kids. It's not right. Why can't these people divorces move at the pace of Kandi and Todd? After a year or two of separation, there's no reconciling. Let it go. Well, remember, when we see divorces settle fast, it's because there are prenups involved. I don't think Rachel Zoe had a prenup because when they got married, she wasn't Rachel Zoe. She was Rachel Zoe, but she wasn't Rachel Zoe. So I don't think they have a prenup, which is why. And also, even if they have a prenup, they had businesses together. It's a lot to untangle. So that does take a little bit more time, especially if people aren't motivated to end it. I think in Kandi and Todd's case, even though things in the media were saying one thing, I think Kandi and Todd were motivated to end the marriage. I think they were motivated to get to the finish line fast. So I agree with what you're saying. Why can't other divorces go that way? But that's part of it. Kandi and Todd didn't have... I know they tried to make it seem like Todd was fighting the prenup and stuff, but clearly he wasn't. Clearly he didn't fight the prenup because the divorce is final. I think Kandi filed for divorce in July. The divorce was final in March. But when we see these divorces linger on, it's because there wasn't no prenup, and now they're fighting over every little thing, or the people aren't motivated for the marriage to be over. The fact that she just filed for divorce a year after they were separated. So they were separated for a year. Now, in some states, you have to wait a year. I know they were married in California, so maybe, but I know in Maryland, they've changed it now, but in Maryland, you used to have to be separated a year before you could file for divorce. Same thing in North Carolina. I think they've changed that law in both states now, but you had to be legally separated, meaning y'all couldn't even share the same address. It had to be an extreme situation where you could show the judge, well, I'm living downstairs, he's living upstairs, and we're not sharing a marital bed. There are no relations going on. But you used to have to be separated for a year before you could even file for divorce in some states. So I don't know, but I agree with you that, girl, if you hate that man this much, go and get that divorce. And the reality, Rachel, is always you're going to pay him. You ain't going to like it, but you're going to have to pay that man because you're walking away with the business. Even though he was a partner and he was a part of the business, you are the brand. You're going to walk away with that business. You going to pay him. I mean, that's just it, and that's all. And maybe that's part of what the holdup is, that she don't want to pay him, and I mean, that's my opinion. I'm not an attorney, child. But girl, you're going to pay that man. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode. Again, I know we're behind, So I'm gonna try to get us caught up. Ladies of London, I've already watched the next 2 episodes. I just didn't have time to do both today. So we'll do that at some point this weekend. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to watch the next 2 episodes of Beverly Hills because I think I'm behind. I think I'm behind like 4 episodes. So I'm gonna watch the next 2 episodes so we can do another review. With that being said, you guys, I'm out of here. I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.